Previously on the Joe John Show. I am sick and tired of you interrupting me. I'm tired of this shit. I've had it up to here. People can't see it because we're on the radio, but I've had it up to here. My hand is through the fucking roof, okay? I am just sick and tired of this shit. You know what? You do this all the
Tired of what?
You're interrupting me right now. Stop interrupting me. I've told you so many goddamn times.
What am I?
You always do it. I'm sick and tired of it.
What am I interrupting,
and the
Joe?
thing is, look,
maybe if you had something to say, maybe then I wouldn't have to interrupt you.
Well, maybe not. I don't know. I don't care anymore, John Neary. I'm going to leave. I'm going to get my own show. It's going to be the Joe Show. Not Joe John.
Good luck, buddy. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Goodbye.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
I'm going. Screw you. Fuck you. Kiss my ass.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Joe John. We are back, and we are coming at you from a totally different side of the room. How do you feel, Joe? How's it feel to be back?
It's nice. Feels great.
Yeah.
Feels like my third or fourth home, maybe.
The other one is, where's your other homes? Good one, Joe. All right, let's move on, Joe. What do we got today?
Well, today we are going
and why am I talking like this?
I don't know. The intro's over, so you can stop with that voice. But we are going to talk about a little bit of video game and movie news as far as some Steam stuff, which is the online gaming service, and Polygon, which is a video game news site. Murray wants...
At least they claim to be. To me, they're like the National Enquirer of video game news.
Yeah, we'll get into that. And Murray, you wanted to talk about Nintendo. I want to bring up the Wonder Woman movie coming out pretty soon, and the positive tweets that it's getting, as well as some Venom news, which is pretty good. And we are going to have a review of Alien Covenant.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are going to, in response to Alien Covenant, we are going to have a list of what we think are the worst alien movies. That can, basically anything that has an alien in it.
That we've seen.
That includes like Alien Invasion, alien sci-fi action type movies, whatever.
Before we get into all that real quick, I just want to remind you, we are on the Twitter, the Facebook, the Instagram, and we do have a website. It's joejohnshow.com. It's pretty bare bones right now. There's nothing on it.
It's just starting.
Yeah, there will be more stuff on it in the future. Stay tuned because we will be giving things away to buy your listenership. But anyways, the other thing I want to point out is we are going to move services, so there may be a little bit of changes in the feeds and things like that, technical crap. We'll let you know. If you're following us on Twitter and Facebook, you'll know. So be there or be square, because that's what people say.
That when you're square.
And I am. Well, actually, I'm round. Getting rounder.
Yeah. Round with a round head, round arms, round. Anyway. Let's get on with the video game and movie news.
Want to apologize if you can hear a child crying in the background.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Murray this is your 9th kid that you have, which is why we had to kind of take a break because of his 9th kid. It's the only one that he hasn't sold yet, so
yeah.
We're getting in on that.
On eBay.
Soon.
What are we talking about?
We are going to move into Steam.
Okay, basically what it is that...
this is from the Polygon article. This is what you want to talk about?
The whole Polygon... I'm not even going to get into like specifics with the Polygon article.
Okay.
I'm going to explain the gist of it. And basically it is that Polygon wrote this article about they keep calling him good guy Valve. And I don't understand where this mentality comes from. Like, they were talking about the idea of like how everybody thinks Valve's like the good guy and they're out there for the little guy and like for consumers and all this stuff. And basically they go through this whole article bashing Valve and talking about how they're anti-consumer and all this other shit that just... I'm sorry.
I think Polygon is anti-consumer.
I think they are too. But basically they're saying that Valve's only in it for the money. They're screwing everybody over. They're making everything bad. They're not good because there needs to be another competitor, which I get why like developers say there needs to be another competitor. Valve takes 30% of the sale. And I get why developers don't like that, and that there's a monopoly out there in the market.
Well, if you want to use their service,
you have to
pay for it.
Well, I understand that. That's why I don't argue that Valve is this evil corporation. I mean, they are just that, a corporation that's there to make money. But Polygon's making it out to be like they're these evil jerks. And I got into an argument on Twitter that you can go and see with people where I said, you know what they do? They sell video games, and you know how they do it? good. That's how they do it. Because I go on my computer, and just like the other day, I got on my computer. I said, "Hey, I want to play Prey." Typed it in, bought it, downloaded it. Guess what? It works. If it doesn't work, if the game itself doesn't work, that's not on Steam. That's on the developer. And it's working. So, I mean, as far as Steam goes, they do that part, and they do it better than anybody else on the market. They get it to you better than anybody else.
Yeah, and that's really all it should be used for. I mean, as far as like, as long as it does that service well, and it sounds like it does. Now, I don't use Steam because I don't have a PC, but from what I understand, it works and works pretty well.
Yeah, go online, go on your Xbox, go on your PlayStation, pick a game, buy it, download it.
Yeah,
it works. Steam does the same thing, but where everybody's getting irritated is like they're like, well, Steam doesn't have refunds. They do now. They're kind of half-assed refunds.
I thought
they're half-assed refunds because you really don't get your money back. You just get credit, which I'm fine with that. I was going to waste $60 on a video game anyway. So, but it's no different than Microsoft or Sony. They don't give refunds. I mean, they're toying with the programs now. But why is this new to people? Like, people act like, why is Polygon acting like nobody else does this stuff? And they keep making this argument that like everybody says EA is the big bad guy, and but they give Valve a pass. And like, I disagree. Valve gets shit all the time. And EA, I'm sorry, they do suck.
Electronic Arts.
Yeah. EA puts out garbage products all the time. Now, their argument is that EA comes out and gives you refunds and does it the right way and all that stuff. Not because they want to. They shouldn't. They put out stuff they know is broken all the time.
Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah, I was like, come on. And my biggest issue is that the people I was arguing with online have like there's these trading card things you get in Steam, and then there's forums on Steam. So the arguments were made that the trading card system is being gamed by developers to try to get people to buy games for the certain trading cards. I'm sorry, I don't get into that. That's like ultra nerd crap, and it's like, to me, it's a secondary thing. It's not a primary focus, so who cares? Then the forums, they argued that, oh, they're so toxic. I am yet to be anywhere on the internet. I mean, even on a chat, or not a chat, but like the comment section underneath a YouTube video, and not see them get toxic.
They're toxic. All forums are toxic.
It's unavoidable. And it's like
everywhere.
They're like, they need more moderators. Like, everybody needs more moderators. Guess what, though? There's more people not moderating than there are people moderating, no matter where you go. And that's the way it's always going to be. It's going to be an impossible thing to fight. It's like piracy. No matter how hard you fight it, they're going to fight back even harder.
I wish Polygon would stop writing about video games because I don't consider them gamers. I mean, for starters, like, there was all those kind of reports that came out with, like, when they were, did you ever hear about when they were going to review Doom? When that came out and they had that
the new Doom?
Yeah, the new Doom.
And I was thinking Doom,
no, the latest Doom.
I was like thinking Doom 3.
The new Doom, the latest one. But anyway, they were talking about how, or it was brought up that they made a video of their gameplay, and that video was released, and it was getting so much trash talk because it looked like maybe like a 6-year-old.
Oh yeah, no,
that was playing.
Yeah, they were
game.
They were the ones who played the game awfully.
Yeah, like and they were talked out on that, and it's like and as far as like, and they also have written reviews where they have complained that a game is too hard. Like, they gave The Last of Us a lower than kind of an average score just because they really couldn't. They thought it was too difficult in places, and it was sort of reminded me of like when IGN did a review of the game Alien Isolation, and they gave it a pretty average score because they thought it was way too difficult. It's like, come on, you guys are getting paid to play these games, and you're giving it sort of a lower score just because of its difficulty. I really hate that. I can't stand that. Plus, hold on, Polygon. No, but I'm not. I mean, also with Polygon, something I wanted to bring up with as far as some of their articles, Witcher 3. They would have articles claiming that the game is sexist, or even Bayonetta 2 is sexist. And I'm really sick and tired of these kind of articles coming out because it just shows you don't play the game. Witcher 3 is not sexist. It actually has some of the strongest female characters that you would ever get in a video game. Just because they show their boobies at certain points doesn't mean that they're just beautiful, ugly women. They actually have a lot of depth.
But you're talking about a video game website that does nothing but constantly praise Anita Sarkeesian. And if you don't know who Anita Sarkeesian is, she does this thing called Tropes versus Women, which she's moved on to.
It's over now.
She's moved on to something new. And the tropes versus women that she was doing was basically talking about all the stereotypes and all the things about how video games don't put strong women in these games and don't have good women role models, even though in the last like 3 or 4 years there have been like monstrous amount of games where the main character was a woman, and it's been some of the biggest games. Tomb Raider, I'm sorry, has been around for how long? And then you got other games that were, I mean, go back to like Perfect Dark.
It's equal opportunity because the men are treated like, if you say that the women are being objectified, so are the men too. Like all of the male superheroes are in such tight clothing, showing their butts and muscles and abs.
That's what I think. No, that's what I don't understand. It's like women don't really look like that. Neither do dudes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, and as far as in Witcher 3, there are female prostitutes, but there are male prostitutes as well.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if people did look like some of these characters in video games? Can you imagine what a Marcus Phoenix would look like in real life? Those dudes look like
they look like Hulks.
They look like they wouldn't even be able to bend. They get like, I've got an itch. Can you get this? I'm like, where? Everywhere. I don't understand Polygon at all because almost everything they do is whine and complain about the industry. They never praise
pointless things too.
They never praise anything anymore. It's like, why do you do video game stuff? I almost feel like they hate video games. Like that's how I feel about it.
They do.
They hate it, but they continue to do it. And what's funny is if you go read the comments on Facebook or on Twitter, everybody hates them.
Yeah, I don't know how they're still around. I mean, who exactly supports them?
I feel like if you're a video game journalism website and you make Kotaku look like you're the Wall Street Journal, well, they're not even that great anymore.
Kotaku sucks.
Somebody amazing, then you suck horribly. And I'd rather read Kotaku than Polygon any other day. But
there was also claims that Polygon was bought for their reviews too. There's also those claims.
What do you mean bought for their reviews?
Companies bought them to give them positive reviews for their games. There's also those claims, but I think those kind of claims actually happen to a lot of other.
I think it goes all around. I mean, isn't that what
I'm pretty sure it happens to IGN and
that what happened like a few years ago on GameSpot, where one of the reviewers was like, "I'm not doing it."
Yeah, and he got fired for it.
Yeah, because that kind of
it was on the Kane and Lynch game, which wasn't. I can't remember the dude's name, but it wasn't really even that good of a game.
Billy Bob Thornton?
No,
not him.
No.
Okay, let's move on. It's more video game crap. It's it's been a while since we've been on the internets, so I got some things I need to catch up on. And we are living in the world of the Nintendo Switch being the greatest system ever and blah 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 blah.
It is, isn't it? You own one. I don't.
I do own one, but that doesn't mean anything. I own a lot of stuff that's not that great.
So do I.
I'm not saying the Nintendo Switch sucks by any means, but I will go ahead and say this, which is probably going to get me a lot of crap. I think Zelda might be the most overrated video game I've ever played in my life. Now, having said that, it's not a bad game, so don't hear it that way. Don't hear me saying, like, oh, this game sucks. There's just a lot of stuff with that game that I don't understand how it got so much hype. And am I going to go into this and explain myself?
You're not going to call it sexist like Anita Sarkeesian, are you?
No. Like I was saying, like, am I going to explain myself about this? No, I don't feel like it. You want to know why? Because the people who are listening to this and saying, no, he's wrong, aren't going to care what I have to say. They've already made up their minds, and that's fine. It's just my opinion. I'm just going to go ahead and say overrated. Is it a 10? No. Is it a 7.5? Maybe an 8? Yeah. But that's about where I am with it. It's good. It's really good, but there's a lot wrong with it also. So moving on, let's get back to Nintendo, because as I sit here and look at the schedule of games they got coming out, I have some questions about this amazing Nintendo Switch that only has like 2 really good games on it right now. I don't understand that.
Is it 1-2 Switch? Is that one of them?
Yeah, that's the best game on the system. I'm going down the list, and they got stuff coming out, but it's like, it's ridiculous as to how many of them are ports. And that's my problem with the system right now. It's almost all ports. And then you got Nintendo, who's going to release ARMS, Splatoon 2, their Mario game, Project something I can't pronounce. And then there's other stuff coming out. Then there's Xenoblade Chronicles. Hang on, I'm just going off of Nintendo. But then they're like, then you got SNK is releasing more stuff. Yes, because that's what we need. Another system to buy Neo Geo games on. Ukulele's going to come out at some point if it hasn't already. I don't even remember because it's a game I'm not interested in. But once again, we have a game that's a port. And as I'm going down this list and looking at everything, most of these games are going to be available on other systems. And that's kind of my problem with it. It's like if they aren't like, Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim's coming out, special
that's
edition.
right. That still hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, third quarter of this year is what it says. So it should be relatively soon, I would think. Although they have Sonic Mania as third quarter, and that's not right. They got pushed back to like December.
E3 is around the corner, though. It's coming up. So don't you think that they might have a lot at E3? What if, I mean?
Oh, I think they will. I think they got games coming out for it. I do, but the problem is like everybody else has got a lot of these games. And my big thing that I'm questioning about the Nintendo games that are coming out is Nintendo does have some, like, they're hoping ARMS is going to be a big deal. And then Splatoon 2 is obviously going to be a huge deal. And clearly the biggest deal of the year is going to be Mario, period. And what my problem with this is those are, I don't know about ARMS. You know, it'll probably sell well because it's a Nintendo game. It'll probably be good because
I don't even know what that is.
It's that fight boxing game.
That looks stupid.
Well, it doesn't have to use motion controls, so that kind of got me back into it. Like, it can be like a regular fighting game with a controller. So that kind of made me think, okay, it might be fun.
But it still is mainly motion control, right?
No,
because if it's both motion control and basic, then it's probably not going to be able to do that much with basic. Like, you're going to have it's going to be like one punch from the other punch, but
I don't know. It'll be like a regular fighting game.
It just doesn't.
But who cares? My whole point is those are 3 games they got coming out. Like I said, they got like 4 or 5 actually coming out this year. But those to me are probably going to be their 3 big giant ones because I don't care what anybody says. Xenoblade Chronicles is not this monstrous franchise. To me, it's more of a niche thing that people are into. But Mario is by far going to be the biggest game they release. And what I'm questioning is that what do they have coming after this year? Because they're already blowing a load that's, monstrous.
Hopefully Metroid.
But when are they gonna? To me, right now, the best thing they could do is come out and say this year. I don't even care if they come out at E3 and say we're gonna release all the Metroid Prime games on the Switch, like upgraded or some kind of crap like that. I would be like, holy crap, that's awesome. You know, and that's what they need to do. And then when they do that, they also need to say, because we're releasing a brand new Metroid game in 2018. It needs to happen. They need, if they want the system to continue selling, the number one thing they have to do is realize that they have the greatest lineup of franchises on the planet, and they need to keep pumping them out.
Says you.
And most people, considering that they have almost every game they make is an 8 or more. I mean, they almost never get anything below that.
That's because
reviews.
People can't. They have to just. That's what they. It's Nintendo, so they feel that they have to.
I disagree on that totally. When it comes to platforming and things like that
they suck.
No one holds a candle to them. You don't even like platformers.
Suck. No, I don't, because I stopped playing that stuff. I got more into the adult.
He likes
games.
He likes playing Witcher and doing dude on dude. That's how he knows there's dude prostitutes.
There are dude prostitutes, but you can't do the dude on dude. Only dude on women.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant in Mass Effect, where you can do dude on dude.
Which I have not.
Which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying it makes Joe uncomfortable, so I just wanted to
But I did. There was dude on Alien. So
that makes me uncomfortable. Anyways, that's it for the video game talk. Let's move down the line.
All right, let's get to Wonder Woman. Let's talk about DC's new upcoming movie.
What are we going to talk about Wonder Woman that we haven't said on previous episodes that are only available on our website as of this podcast?
Well, basically, I mean, we have talked about this, like when they had their trailer. I remember with the first trailer that came out, I was actually rather positive about it. I thought, it actually looked good to me.
You did like it.
To you, you didn't like it.
It looked like the same old crap.
And when further trailers have come out, I think there's been like maybe 2 or 3 more trailers.
It proved me right.
Basically, that first trailer was nothing but action, and these other trailers open up more of the story and dialogue and characters, and that's when I was like, I'm not too sure. And I'm still not too sure, even when we get these positive tweets.
Who are these tweets coming from? Because I heard they're critics, and
some of them are, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, but from your usual websites like Joe Blow or IGN. But the thing is like, I still just don't take this seriously with positive tweets before the movie comes out, because it happens with every single superhero movie that comes out, even the really bad ones. Batman v Superman had wonderful tweets. Suicide Squad had wonderful tweets. The Fantastic Four piece of crap movie had positive tweets.
Rogue One had fantastic tweets.
Rogue One had fantastic tweets. That movie was
not a DC Warner Brothers movie. I brought it up because we did an episode where Joe talked about how great that movie was, and then Joe watched it recently. And what did you say, Joe?
I was Phantom Menace.
Yeah, he thought it was boring. You know what I said on that podcast? It was boring.
Phantom Menace, basically. When the Phantom Menace Episode 1 Star Wars came out,
we drank the Kool-Aid and bought the hype.
Everybody, or well, not everybody, but a lot of the fanboys loved Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And then maybe 6 months go by and it's like, it was all right. And then about a year later, it's like, that movie just sucked.
Yeah, once I watched it on DVD, that's when I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, Rogue One I've seen maybe 3 or 4 times now, and the last time I watched it, it was brutal, man, because I was just waiting for that one awesome scene near the end of it with Darth Vader, and everything else before that was just such a chore. It's like, it was so damn boring. The characters, aside from like the Donnie Yen character and his partner, those 2 characters I still like, but all the other characters are so terrible, so one-dimensional. The main female character is also horrible. I couldn't stand her. I think she was the worst
There's
thing.
almost no story arc for her at all.
No, and it's pointless. It's a pointless movie. It's a very pointless movie. There is no reason for it to exist.
I feel nothing for anybody in that movie. I kind of did for like Donnie Yen and his sidekick guy or whatever, but even then, it just kind of wore thin on me after a while.
So I gave it like an 8. I botched it down to a 6 because I still
don't remember what the hell I gave it.
I think you gave it a 6.
But you know what? You know what I did anyway? Even though I gave it a 6 or whatever, I bought it.
So did I.
Because I felt like it had to be on the shelf next to all the other movies, because even I own the prequels. Joe doesn't even own those. And I
own the prequels.
On Steel?
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And by the way, I would like to point out, by far one of the worst steel cases I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a terrible steel case. But anyway, I just want to kind of read some of these tweets.
Wonder Woman tweets.
Wonder Woman is the best DCEU, the DC Extended Universe film so far. The best DCEU movie so far. You really have no competition. You have Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad, both of them absolute pieces of filth. Loved Wonder Woman. She reminds me of Christopher Reeve's Superman, true North superhero with no angst or cynicism, which is needed right now. Which I actually, as far as the fact that they say that her character has no angst, I actually kind of like that. I am happy to hear that. I have a feeling that the character might be done well, although I do think Gal Gadot is not really that good of an actress.
Oh, not at all.
But maybe she'll pull it off in some way. But I have a feeling they might do the character well. It's the movie itself that I think might be crap. Like the villain, because they really don't show a villain in the trailer. And it just, I don't know, it looks like it might be really hokey.
I got to wonder when people are making these movies, is Zack Snyder there saying like, how much stuff did you do in slow motion? And they're like, none. He's like, oh, well, you got to have like her swinging her sword slow or sweeping the leg or something cool like that. And then is she getting raped?
Walking through a door.
Is she getting raped in this movie? No? Really? No. All right. I feel like Warner Brothers...
make it happen.
I feel like Warner Brothers had to come down and tell him that. It's like, can you not make this rapey? We know you like to talk about it. Just don't put it in these movies, because if you do, yeah, you're done.
Very pleased to report that Wonder Woman is the best DC movie since The Dark Knight. I'm already looking forward to seeing it again.
I'm sorry, but for those of you out there who don't like The Dark Knight Rises, I think Wonder Woman has a very long ways to go to be even better than that movie. Because even if I would say it was not as good as The Dark Knight, still way better than a lot of comic book movies.
Yeah, I like The Dark Knight Rises.
I do too.
I mean, it does have its faults, but I think all of those Nolan Batman films have faults. Like even The Dark Knight had problems.
Oh, I agree. I feel like when I watch those movies, I almost wonder if Nolan uses Steven Spielberg's mentality, and that's who cares? They're going to be watching it. It's going to be awesome.
Wonder Woman has some of the coolest... This is the last one I'll read. Wonder Woman has some of the coolest, most insanely well-performed and badass fight scenes ever, singularly choreographed and shot.
Okay.
They don't say anything about the story or the villain, but I mean, it is called Wonder Woman, so I guess I don't know. I just think that I would not trust these tweets.
Some of the best fight scenes ever choreographed. Have they? The person who wrote that? Have they seen Rocky V? I'm going to argue that.
I just think that don't take these tweets seriously. I sure as hell am not. And
you're not going to tell me Tommy Morrison wasn't amazing in that movie.
Tommy Gunn only fights in the ring. No, but it's like, I just don't think that, I hope it's going to be good, but I have my doubts. I still have my doubts. Even with these tweets, it brings me back to, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, shame on the world. Shame on I don't know. President Bush.
Good one.
How did he go?
No, we can't have this dead air, Joe. Come on.
I know. I'm trying to think. Where were we? Oh yeah, this got my juices flowing. Some news came out just recently about Venom. They are making a Venom movie, which is supposed to be separate from the Spider-Man universe, from what I understand, or at least it's like Sony's. I don't know how Sony's doing this. It is going to be a Sony-produced movie, and it's not going to be with the Marvel universe, which is now what Spider-Man is a part of, which Spider-Man is owned by Sony. So this is its own thing.
The rights are owned by Sony. They don't own Spider-Man. They only own his film rights.
Right, but they apparently can use whatever kind of property they can. Like, they still own Venom. So they're going to make a Venom spin-off movie, and they announced who's going to play Venom, and that is Tom Hardy, which makes me very hardy. So I think...
Yeah, Joe blew a load at work the other day when he's like, "Did you hear about this? I've got the biggest boner you ever seen." That's how he talks at work. We don't know why.
I feel that Tom Hardy is one of the best actors working today. And I also want to mention, say, after seeing a certain movie, which we are going to review, Michael Fassbender, I sincerely think he is one of the best actors working today as well. But Tom Hardy, I do think is phenomenal. I think he's fantastic. I think as Venom, I think he's going to do very well because it's Eddie Brock Venom, and Eddie Brock is supposed to be, bulky, unlike Topher Grace from Spider-Man 3, which that was
poor casting.
That was so terrible.
Man, that whole movie was phoned in.
I do actually kind of like Topher Grace, but
that whole movie was phoned in.
Oh yeah.
Sam Raimi was on cruise control at that point.
Sam Raimi, the thing is, they wanted so desperately to get Venom into Spider-Man 3, and Sam Raimi was like, "Fine, I'll put him in, but I'm going to make the shittiest superhero movie ever," in retaliation, which he did.
You think he made it on purpose? I mean, that's how you're making it sound. I don't think he did. I mean, if you listen to him talk about it,
I hope he did.
He has a lot of regrets for that movie. I mean, he's not very happy with it himself. But he also is real good about making it like, well, they wanted me to do all this dumb stuff. So, but I'm happy with the casting. I don't really care for the supposed director of the movie.
I don't either. It's Ruben Fleischer, which he did. I'm gonna name the bad stuff that he's done. 2 of them: Gangster Squad and 30 Minutes or Less. Those are both unbelievably terrible movies. If you actually have a movie with Ryan Gosling and you have Ryan Gosling be terrible in the movie, you have a very terrible movie. Did you ever see Gangster Squad?
Nope, didn't want to.
Oh, God. It is so bad. It's got an amazing cast, but it's an awful, awful movie. And 30 Minutes or Less was just stupid. And he also did do Zombieland, which I will say Murray has, I think, different feelings. I thought it was a good movie. Not a great movie.
No, I don't have different feelings.
I think I like it more than you did.
No, I disagree. I think I'm on the same page with you. I think it's good, but it got praised like it was like one of the most amazing movies
it's like
of the year.
It's like 90% of Rotten Tomatoes.
It's good, but good Lord. It was one of those moments where I realized there seems to be this thing about Woody Harrelson where every once in a while, everybody pretends that they've just been like a huge Woody Harrelson fan forever, even though nobody can name anything he's ever been in. It's like, I don't understand it.
I like Woody Harrelson a lot, but he's not one of my favorite actors or anything. No, but he has done some fantastic movies.
I agree. I especially love when that dude shows up in really small parts and stuff, because he always plays something amazing. But most people can't even name half the crap he's ever been in.
I'm looking forward to what he's going to do in the Planet of the Apes movie coming out too.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're not looking forward to it, but I am.
I don't care.
I think it looks good.
I don't think it looks bad. I just, not my thing, man. So, anyways, it's time to get into the Alien Covenant.
Yep, let's get into the Alien Covenant review.
I'm not enjoying this podcast, Joe.
What do you mean?
I just think it should have just been me. It should have been the John podcast.
The John.
Anyways, all right. we're moving into Alien Covenant movie reviews.
All right. Before we kind of really get into this, I think we should kind of say where we come from when it comes to the Alien franchise.
Topeka, Kansas.
Basically.
I'm sorry.
What are you talking about?
You said where it come from?
The franchise. Where we come from on the franchise.
Earth.
The Alien franchise is, I'm not, I guess I am probably a huge fan. I don't want to say that I'm like a fanboy of it.
I'm not a fanboy, but I enjoy it.
But I really do enjoy it. I feel a
need to watch them all.
Oh, yeah. And I feel that, especially after Alien Covenant, I was like, well, I definitely want to see the next one.
And that's where me and you differ a little bit.
But anyway, I feel that with Alien and Aliens, both fantastic films, they are definitely the highlights of the franchise. Alien 3, I do like. I think it's a pretty good movie. Alien Resurrection, I think, is one of the worst movies of all time. I absolutely hate it. It was stupid. Alien vs. Predator movies, dumb, retarded fun, I guess. I mean...
Which one?
Both of them. Both Alien vs. Predator movies.
I was thinking about something... And it was when I watched Angry Joe's spoiler review of Alien Covenant, and like with some of the stuff he said about Resurrection. And while
I didn't watch the whole video, so.
I did. I feel like he didn't say a lot, but he made a point of saying like that made me think about something with Resurrection. It makes me want to go back and watch it, not because he had a positive opinion on it, because he doesn't. It was more that I never thought about this, but. While I feel like in the Alien franchise, that movie is a giant pile of crap, I got to wonder if, because this is something I've like started thinking about myself with movies, like going back and watching them in a different perspective, the same perspective in which I put a Batman and Robin in. Like, it's so awful that I actually enjoy it, because there is stuff in that movie that I thought was so ridiculous that I found it entertaining. But then there's aspects of it that it's just kind of like, okay, this is stupid. Like, I thought, like, the basketball scene in Resurrection was just totally dumb. Like, that kind of stuff. Like, just didn't enjoy it at all. But, I don't know. Like, I still laugh to this day at the scene at the end when the weird baby alien thing, human-looking alien with its weird skull face came out.
The all-white alien with eyes?
Yeah, I thought that. I started laughing when I first saw that.
It was a terrible-looking monster.
I didn't understand the point. I really didn't. I was like, what are they doing with this movie?
Is that what he was talking about?
No, he didn't talk about that. I'm just saying that's what, oh my God. I said he crapped on it. He didn't say a lot about it. And then I started talking about it. Are you listening to me?
Kind of.
Huh? Do you hear what I'm saying?
I don't know. God. But I think it's absolutely dreadful. A dreadful movie. But then
I haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters because I had no desire to see it again.
I've seen it a couple of times. There's just nothing redeeming in it.
I've got it over there. I bought the quadrilogy.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah.
Prometheus came out, and I like Prometheus. I understand people's complaints. I hate it. It seems like the number one thing people bring up is, the scientists were stupid.
They are.
But that's not enough to me.
They're poorly written.
Not enough to me.
Poorly written. Everything they do is sloppy and done solely to move the movie forward.
It's a horror trope, yes, but at the same time, I just didn't. That's not enough for me to ruin
it. It carried into Covenant, and that's what makes me mad.
It did.
It was more. It once again goes into like I had this feeling that Ridley Scott has a tough time outside of like say Blade Runner. Telling stories. Like he can't seem to like further anything along. He's like, well, what do we do here? I don't know. Make him do something stupid.
Except for like his easiest movies, like The Martian or what was some of his Matchstick Men, maybe. Some of his simpler movies are pretty well straightforward.
I know people will argue and they'll be like, ooh, Gladiator. Again, I think Gladiator might be one of the most overrated films in history.
F you. I love Gladiator. I think, and I got to tell you right off the bat, as far as Ridley Scott movies go, there's only 2 of them that I don't like. The rest of them I think are either good or great or fantastic. Just to The Counselor, which also has Michael Fassbender in it, and Exodus. The one he did with Christian Bale.
I never watched it.
Oh God, it's terrible. It's absolutely abysmal.
I think really,
those are the only 2.
I'm beginning to think though.
I even liked Robin Hood.
And this is where I have a beef with. Like, okay, you're gonna hear me out though, like folks. That I did like Alien Covenant. Don't get me wrong, but I seen a lot wrong with it. And one of the things I see wrong with it is that I feel like that Michael Fassbender is like is Ridley Scott like in love with this dude? So he's
the best thing in the movie.
So like, while he's good, he's amazing in the movie.
He's my favorite thing.
I just don't like the direction they went with, like what he's doing with the aliens and like all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna do everything I can to not spoil this movie, but basically, if you don't know what it's about, these people are on a colony mission to a planet that's super far away.
Habitable planet.
Gonna take them 7 years to get there, and they end up having a ship problem on the way there, and then they find another habitable planet that's close, and it's the planet that the what are they called? What are the creators?
The engineer's ship. Yeah. That it continues from Prometheus, where at the end of Prometheus there was only 2 survivors, which was David, an android played by Michael Fassbender, and Dr. Elizabeth Shaw, played by Noomi Rapace. They end up leaving the planet from Prometheus in one of the engineers' ships. They crash land on this planet that this new crew goes to, and basically this new crew, once they end up on the planet, they do eventually meet David, Michael Fassbender, and then of course all this crap just starts happening, the usual alien stuff. But also they have on the new crew, they have Michael Fassbender playing another droid named Walter. And yeah, all this alien carnage essentially starts from there.
Almost every decision that is made in this movie is a bad decision.
I would agree with you. There is some things, like as far as like when they choose to not go to the original destination, where they decide to go to this other planet. The reason why they go to this other planet is mainly for 2 reasons. 1, they receive a human distress call, which is from Elizabeth Shaw from Prometheus. 2, the fact is, and I kind of buy that they go to this planet simply because they had problems on the ship. They lost their captain in the cryopod. Like, they see him die in the cryopod, which he's played by James Franco, and he gets burned.
A pointless role.
Well, I think they had more footage with him that got cut.
But that's one of the things that I also feel that I noticed about this movie, and it's something that bugged me, is one of the aspects of this movie that bothered me is that there is a lot of stuff, and I hate when movies do this, that you would have to go online to watch in order to get a lot of like character development.
I think it was deleted scenes that they just released online.
No, I think that's exactly what it was.
By the way, this review is going to have some spoilers.
I think that's exactly what it was. I think character development and other things that were in this movie were taken out and put online, and that kind of bothered me because it's stuff that I think would have actually made me enjoy the movie more.
They should have had, but there's 2 of them. There's one where there's one thing on YouTube where they show Elizabeth Shaw rebuilding David and then them landing on the planet. And then the other thing on YouTube is basically introducing the Covenant crew.
Oh, and also, when there's just so much, like, again, like the characters, no matter who they are, even if they're not even characters that are in the entire movie, I'm telling you, they write everybody and everything in the universe in these movies to be stupid. Because again, here comes a spoiler. So if you have not seen the movie, do not listen. When they arrive to the planet where the engineers are, all the engineers, all of them, are all gathered in one place in order to be demolished.
You don't know that though. It's a planet. They could be on other parts of the planet.
Okay.
They could be.
Okay. Yeah.
You just gotta stretch it just a little bit. Okay. Just stretch it till it doesn't break.
That's
okay?
right. They're somewhere
just
else.
Kind of stretch it.
They're not all dead.
I'm gonna make up excuses for every damn thing you say,
and then
because I can.
Once again, we have another movie where they're going around touching everything. Oh, let's just touch this and see what it does.
I was thinking right off the bat, it's like, it's a habitable planet. It has your oxygen, but you know what? I'm still gonna wear a damn helmet.
Yes, because you don't know what's in the air. You don't know what viruses are there. You don't know what diseases could be. I mean, that's what I'm like. What the hell? Like, he's like, this is wheat. Are you sure? You sure it's really wheat? That's what I didn't understand.
But anyway, I wanted to, as far as like going back to the fact that James Franco dies and he gets burned to death in the cryotube. Basically, none of them want to get back in their cryotube for 7 more years just because of that. So that's why they go to the planet. I can buy that. I'm fine with that.
To an extent,
Billy Crudup is in it, and he's now the acting captain.
And another character that bothers me, because they make a significant point to talk about how he's a man of faith, but that whole conversation
really do anything with that.
It was pointless.
I feel like maybe there might be a version of this movie that's like an hour-long extra or something.
No, I agree. I feel like when I was watching the movie, there's stuff that was like editing, like might have killed some of the stuff.
I hope there's like a director's cut, because that Ridley Scott's known for director's cut. Like Kingdom of Heaven has like almost an hour-long extra of
Was there
footage.
like 37 cuts of Blade Runner?
Yeah, so it's like I'm hoping that they do it with Covenant. But anyway, do you want to talk about the aliens?
Yeah, yes, I have a beef with the aliens in this one.
I think basically we have the proto-alien, which is like they look just like aliens, except they're kind of they're flesh colored.
Mm-hmm.
They're more weird looking. They weren't really that. I didn't really do anything for me.
I have a problem with them because there are certain elements in the movie, like for instance, when one of them attacks another person, I thought the CGI was awful in that scene. I thght some of the CGI in this movie.
I thought the blood effects were pretty good though.
I thought some of the CGI in this movie was pretty bad, and I also did not like. I felt like we got like there were elements of it that I thought were good, but then there was stuff that like the whole they didn't do chest bursting in the beginning of the movie like when the aliens come out. It's a totally different method, but I thought just the whole scene was a little ridiculous.
I thought it was ridiculous because
watching a guy shake around, it just looks stupid to me.
Well, my whole thing is I thought it was kind of cool when those proto xenomorphs, when they would come out, it was essentially they didn't just come out of the chest. Like the aliens that we know, they always come out of the chest. These aliens would seem to come out anywhere they wanted to in their body. Like one of them came out of the back, one of them came out of a dude's mouth.
See, that didn't bother me. The mouth didn't bother me, but the whole scene
was cool.
I thought the scene with the guy where it came out of his back was just kind of dumb. I like the way they and it wasn't the way it came out. It was like the leading up to that bothered me.
It was dumb because that woman was like, "Okay, let me hug you."
Yeah.
And then
once again, they're stupid. They're stupid characters.
They are stupid. But I'll tell you what I did like though. I did like how people seem to keep on slipping on blood.
Yeah.
I did like that because I feel that is something that probably would happen.
Then I have another thing that like when this thing's running around, the chick's trying to shoot it. And only thing I could think in this whole movie with everybody shooting is that they went to stormtrooper school in order to learn how to shoot. Because oh my god,
but
is the accuracy.
They weren't soldiers though. There was only like a couple of soldiers.
I know, but it's not like this thing was like, a quarter of an inch big and they had to hit a pinpoint thing. It was like they couldn't hit it for crap. That was an issue with me. And then there are husbands and wives people on this, and they die, and one of the other dies. And one of the beefs I had with it is something that I totally agreed with Angry Joe on, is that by the end of the movie, the two people left, their significant others had died, but it's like they're cracking jokes and cool and like, they're dead. Oh well, we forgot. Nah. And I could chalk that up to they're just happy to be alive at this point.
That's what I was about to say.
But even then, it was still kind of like they got over it really quick. Which one of them's Danny McBride, and I will say this.
He's good.
I'm okay with Danny McBride doing non-comedic roles after watching this.
He can definitely do drama. That's for sure. I was enjoying his character.
I thought he did a really good job. I was totally surprised.
Honestly, the acting by everybody is good.
Oh yeah,
it's just some of them are not really written too well. That's really just the main thing. Like even like the main chick, Catherine Waterston. I didn't really get anything from her.
No,
it's like I mean, she acted fine, but character-wise, I thought it was pretty bland.
I didn't care for her. I didn't care for her character. It felt like she was just there to be like a Ripley, wannabe fill-in.
She wasn't. See, that's the thing. It's like I think she's supposed to be like another Ripley or another Shaw, and she wasn't as good as either one of them.
Now the thing that I also had a problem. We got to go back to the way they come out of their hosts.
You're going to talk about the baby aliens?
Yeah, when you have the traditional face hugger scene, which by the way, where did the eggs come from? Because
the queen.
What queen?
I'm pretty sure David created a queen.
I don't know. That's the thing. It's like there's just eggs there, and it's like because what we left out is that David is engineering. Basically, he didn't create these things. Obviously, the engineers did. But what he's basically doing is figuring out a way to evolve them into the perfect killing
which to me I love.
Machine. Which I was okay. I was okay with that. Some people have a beef with it. I don't. He's just evolving them along. He's furthering the evolution process, and I'm fine with that. But what I was not fine with is the fact that they totally destroyed the gestation period stuff that we have had in all the other Alien movies. And I mean, like, I'm okay with the alien getting big and growing like instantly, and I don't care about that part. What I had, I do.
You care?
I care to an extent. No, I do to an extent. Like, I mean, it was faster. Like, if it would have been like it came out and was the traditional weird slithery thing, and then the next scene it was big, I'd have been fine with that. But that's not how they did it in this movie. It came out of the chest and was instantly just a miniature version of a big alien. Like it was not. It didn't look like the little.
It didn't look like it at all did in the original Alien.
And then David standing there and raises both his hands up in the air, and then the alien's looking at him and does it too. And I thought, is this a Jim Henson puppet?
Yeah, that was,
when it was doing it.
I did
totally
not like that.
Stupid.
I kind of feel that they're really trying to play off the fact that David, who is an android, he's a creation from humanity. And this is what I liked. He's a creation from humanity, and the humans were created by the engineers.
Mm-hmm.
David kills all the engineers, and then he takes what the engineers had, and then he makes it his own. I mean, I think there's like a lot of depth there to just all this creation stuff.
No,
but at the same time, it's like, yeah, you say, but it does a really stupid thing where the alien mimics what David does. And I didn't like that. I felt that's a bit too much. Like that should have been cut. As far as David himself goes, dude, I love the David character.
I like Michael Fassbender in this movie as both Walter and David, because I thought it was awesome, because you can tell that he played both of them very different.
Yeah.
And I loved that. But there is a scene in this movie that Joe didn't have a problem with.
Oh,
I did.
I loved it. Are you talking about the flute?
Yes, which I just thought was totally stupid. I mean, it was meant to, I mean, it's extremely, and done on purpose. The more I thought about it, it's an extremely homoerotic scene, which wasn't my issue with it. It just seemed super out of place. Like, it just seemed like it was pointlessly put into the movie. Just like the shower scene that's in the movie. Utterly pointless to have it in the movie.
I think it was just embracing its slasher.
I mean, I think so too.
When you boil it down, the original Alien movie is just a slasher film. It is.
You know, speaking of the original Alien movie, you should go back, like the part where she's like in her underwear towards the end. Like, you should go back and watch that scene over again. Not to look at her in her underwear, but to notice that when the alien turns, it looks like he's doing Tai Chi. Like my friend Wes pointed that out. Like when he moves like he's doing karate. And Wes goes, look. And I was watching it. I was like, it does. It looks like he's doing karate.
Hey, Murray.
Yeah.
You blow into the flute. I'll do the fingering.
Oh my god! And I'm sorry, that dialogue just totally ruined it for me.
I thought it was hilarious.
I laughed. I thought it was hilarious too. But you know what? I don't want to do at that point. Laugh, because it was a really, like, to me, like when I say it was not. It wasn't just that it wasn't just a homoerotic scene. It was really off-putting because it was just so weird and like out of place.
The movie is very weird, very weird. Like it is. I'd say it's even like weirder than Prometheus. I think that. And I can understand why this movie might turn a lot of people off. It's actually doing decent critically. I feel that the visual effects are mainly good, aside from a few of the alien problems. I think the gore effects are actually really good. Like there's really good gore effects. I do feel that Ridley Scott. My whole thing with Ridley Scott is that I honestly do not want anyone else to do this franchise except from Ridley Scott. They're talking about Neil Blomkamp.
I don't want Blomkamp, but I don't. No. I'm sorry. I think Ridley Scott's vision of where he's going with David and all this stuff is dumb. I don't like it. I don't like the ending to the movie. I don't like I thought the whole him regurgitating the face huggers and their little egg things and putting it into the incubator thing. I thought that was all dumb. I was just like, this is stupid.
The only reason why I liked it was because when the credits came up, I was pretty much like, well, it's over, but I'm actually really looking forward to whatever they're going to do with the next one, which supposedly is supposed to be the third one of a trilogy. It's supposed to be the last one.
Yeah, thank God.
Shut up, dude. They can do it forever. Just don't do the Blomkamp.
I know, you hear me say this, but you know what? I'm going to give it a 7. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I liked it too. I also give it a 7.
It has its ups and downs, but there are moments in it that are like, to me, awesome. Like some of the action sequences I thought are with the alien are really good, and I did love the performances. I mean, Michael Fassbender is glorious in this movie. I mean, he to me, he proves that he's easily one of the best actors on Earth right now.
I definitely understand why people would hate it, but I liked it. I like you.
What do you give it, Joe?
I already said it. I gave it a 7.
Oh, you gave it a 7 too. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're gonna move on to our
list.
Our list of alien movies that suck.
Yeah. Basically, let me get it here. Here we go. All right. Let's go ahead and start with crap. Let's do the.
I'm okay with shit.
Okay.
It's the F-bombs.
Let's go and start with like the honorable mentions.
Okay.
Let's go ahead because we have like a top 5 list that we both agree on that we have both seen, but we're going to have the honorable mentions listed right now, which I would say Evolution. Let's mention that one first.
What a big disappointment for me. I was excited when that movie came out.
I was too. It felt like because it was from Ivan Reitman, it seemed like it was going to be maybe the next, Ghostbusters with aliens, which that's what it was, just wasn't good.
Yeah, not
it was
at
like
all.
It was like Ghostbusters 2 with aliens.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah. The Faculty, which I like.
Joe likes. I don't
Murray
think it's
does
that
not.
great.
Murray does not like it.
What is it? Yeah, just didn't like it now. No.
Stupid slasher alien movie, but I enjoyed it. The Thing prequel, which was the last Thing movie that came out.
You see, and that's a movie that like is ultimately confusing because it's the Thing prequel that's almost exactly like The Thing.
Well, it's even called The Thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's not a remake. They kept telling everybody it's not a remake, and I feel like they just told people that so people wouldn't get mad that it's a remake because it pretty much was.
I would like to see. Apparently, this movie went through a lot of post-production problems because
a lot of the CGI is the most awful CGI in film history.
it was supposed to be practical effects, and they did do practical effects.
And that's what I heard.
They CGI it up, and then of course
I heard the movie that came out is not the movie that got made. Right. That one.
They changed the ending too. Like originally, you were supposed to see the pilot of the ship, but instead they covered him up with this Tetris stupid looking thing, which didn't make any sense. Crap. But the movie I think is okay.
Yeah.
Meatballs 2.
I didn't want this on the list.
I wanted to mention it because there is an alien character in it of all things.
Meathead.
Yeah, this is a movie that I did watch.
It's a crappy movie, but I loved it when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure you did. I think I did too, but I'm pretty sure it's garbage today.
Probably.
Along with some more garbage that you did like as a kid was Howard the Duck.
I still like Howard the Duck. Jeffrey Jones is amazing in that movie.
He is.
I love that movie. It's just so dumb.
It's not a... What do you think of... You still haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2 yet, have you?
Nope.
Howard the Duck shows up in that as well. Apollo 18. I have not seen this movie.
I watched it when it first came out, and it's hard to remember everything, but it was boring. Like I just wasn't into it. It was just boring. It's like, oh, this is what really happened to these guys. They found some like strange alien thing, and it was just killing them. And I was like, it
looked terrible.
It wasn't good.
10 Cloverfield Lane. A movie that I think is okay.
A movie that
it angered you.
It was one of the first episodes we ever did, and I was like watching it. I actually texted my girlfriend, "I'm gonna buy this movie." 1 minute later, never mind, because the whole trapped inside the bunker with John Goodman element of the movie, incredible. But once the alien stuff happened, I was like, "This movie's dumb, totally dumb, totally ruined it for me." It was like they made 2 movies.
Well, the third one's gonna come out.
No, that's great.
Independence Day 2.
Oh my God!
We actually covered a lot of this in our review already, but it still is. It's still
bad.
It's
It's absolute.
It almost made our top 5, but we decided to leave it off for whatever reason. We found 5 others that we thought were much worse. All right, so let's get into those are the honorable mentions. Let's go with our top 5.
Okay.
Number 5, The Fourth Kind.
Oh my God! Here's a movie that advertised itself as being an actual documented event. They talked about all these disappearances in Alaska, which the FBI actually investigated in real life and determined that most of these people were people who died due to alcohol related incidents. And end of story. But instead, we're going to make this movie and then we're going to put footage in it and tell people, no, this is real footage. And all this stuff is real stuff and it's unexplainable and blah, 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 blah.
Mixed in with a movie, which it's like a very failed M. Night Shyamalan movie.
When I first saw it, I didn't, I was like, is this, I was sitting there thinking is this stuff that they claim, obviously I knew it was claim as real. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting there thinking is this real footage from something that people can't I was thinking maybe it was footage that people had that they couldn't explain. How'd they fake this? That kind of stuff. And then that's when so I was like, no, I got to look this up. So I looked it up and realized no, this is all bullshit.
Well, it's so weird to me is when I remember watching it and then Mila Jovovich is in it. She's the only one that I recognize. There might have been other people, but at the very start of the movie, she comes out saying, "Hi, I'm Mila Jovovich. What you're about to see is true. What you're about to see may frighten and terrify you." And I was like, oh, okay, this is odd. And then all of a sudden it gets into I think it shows some real footage quotes. And then it gets into the movie where Mila Jovovich is playing playing the character that's in this real footage, and the movie goes back and forth between the movie and the real footage.
Showing you
it's a very failed experiment.
Yeah.
And I even like the director is in the movie.
I do think had the footage been actual real footage, like not made up fake footage. I'm doing air quotes here, but you can't see them. If it had not been made up real footage, I think it might have had a different impact, because the impact that it could have had that been like real stuff. But again, you know, I live in reality where, I'm sorry, but aliens are abducting children. And police are catching it on camera, and they aren't talking.
Yeah, some of it's police cam footage.
Yeah, and they're not talking to people through hypnosis in Aramaic. So
it's not a good movie at all.
Not at all.
All right, let's move on to number 4. Number 4 is Alien Resurrection. Now, I absolutely hate this movie.
It's bad.
A lot. It's an incredibly terrible movie. I think it almost killed the Alien franchise, and in fact, I think it really, like, even more so than what Alien 3 did, which I actually really like Alien 3. But Alien Resurrection, Jesus, I mean, after that, that's when we got the Alien versus Predator movies.
I thought Sigourney Weaver's performance in the movie was crappy. I didn't like the characters in it.
Whole idea.
I was excited that Ron Perlman was in it, and then Ron Perlman,
he didn't do anything for me.
Do anything. So yeah, and
the whole premise of it is ridiculous, though. The company, the company's not around anymore. It's some kind of new company, and they clone Sigourney Weaver's character from the Alien franchise.
And there's so much weird crap going on in this movie, dude.
There's a lot of weird stuff.
When, like, the scene where Brad Dourif is like looking like he's gonna make out with the alien through the window, or why did the one alien, like when the alien queen gave birth to the human alien hybrid thing, why did it kill the alien queen and look at Sigourney Weaver as its mother? I was like, what? What is going on?
Yeah, that's like some Prometheus stuff there.
It's like it was just, I don't know. That's why, like, I want to go back and watch it again and see if it's as ridiculous as I feel it is.
But they clone the Ripley character just so they can get the alien queen that's inside of her that she had in Alien 3, which I don't understand that. I don't understand how blood samples could make you also create the alien embryo, as well as the fact this is the only way that they could get a queen after all that time.
It would have had to the alien's blood would have had to have been integrated into the DNA sample. And my thing is like, isn't the alien's blood acid? So like they're like pulling it out and it's all melting their syringes.
Not only that, but it's like, what do you need these aliens for?
And where did they get it? They got it out of molten lava, basically.
Yeah, I don't. Well, blood samples is in like whenever the doctor took her blood samples on Alien 3. But besides that, it's like, what I'm assuming, I don't remember the movie enough to why they were using these aliens. I'm assuming as
military. They wanted to use them as military purposes, because
it's the future. Why do you need them? I'm pretty sure you can make robots. You can make robots.
Yeah.
So have the robots be like that.
I don't know. Because
it's stupid.
Because, Joe, they needed a reason to make another alien movie.
It's so terrible. There's nothing in that movie that's good.
No.
Cinematography is all right, I guess. All right, number 3. Dreamcatcher. Which I have to say, the book is actually good.
I've never read the book, but oh my God, is this movie full of like the most ridiculous performances I've ever seen, and some of the dumbest decisions. Like when Jason Lee's on the toilet when he dies.
Yes.
And like he's sitting he has the alien caught in the toilet with a lid, and he has to have his toothpick he dropped on the ground. Yeah. So he gets off the toilet seat to get it.
It's like a scene that would be an Alien Covenant.
Yeah, it's so stupid. And then, like, what's his name? The guy who plays who has the alien inside his head or whatever.
Yeah.
Him playing, like, going back and forth with his regular voice and then doing the British accent stuff was so stupid.
Yeah, it was awful. I don't remember that being from the book.
And then the mentally handicapped guy,
Duddits.
I'm Duddits. No, I'm like, oh my God.
Played by Donnie Wahlberg.
This stuff is so stupid.
It was terrible. It was a very boring movie too. It's like, you have Morgan. Why do you have Morgan Freeman as a bad guy?
And Morgan Freeman's actually awful in this movie.
He's the villain. Don't ever cast him as a villain again.
Hey man, that was like when Tom Sizemore was moving up in the game back then.
Oh yeah,
then he fell off the.
Thomas Jane is in it too. It does have a really good cast. It's just, and it's done by Lawrence Kasdan. This is the guy who wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark, and he wrote he's in The Empire Strikes Back. Yeah. He's written like some of the best stuff of all time. And he wrote and directed this, and it's completely awful. It's stupid. Mm-hmm. I honestly can't think of any kind of redeeming value it has to it.
Either.
Number 2, we have, you have not seen this, but I have, but take my word for it. Number 2 is Pixels.
I totally believe you. Just from the trailer alone, I was like, this is going to be dumb.
I didn't see this in theaters. I actually rented it to watch it because I wanted to see, if it was really as bad as what people were saying, because, well, I don't even like the concept of it, to be perfectly honest, but basically it's just...
Isn't this a movie that was in development like forever too?
I think so, yeah.
Is it based off a book?
No, it's based off of this short. It was like this short to where like
I knew it was based off something else, and that's why.
Yeah, where aliens use things from the 80s, like video game arcades, and they use the like Pac-Man or Centipede, and they'll use them to basically wipe out humanity. And that the movie is based off of that, and that's what the movie does. Adam Sandler, Josh Gad, what's his name from Game of Thrones? Peter Dinklage,
Kevin James.
Kevin James. And it's basically, they're the ones, since they were so good at arcade games back in the day. And Kevin James also plays the president of the United States, if you can believe that. And so they basically have to wipe out these aliens.
With our current president, I can believe anybody could be president of the United States. So, yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But the movie's absolutely terrible. The visual effects are actually, for what they're doing, is actually not that bad. But the movie itself, everything about it is terrible. It's not funny at all. There was not 1 second where I laughed. I feel that they were just trying to do Ghostbusters with this. It's also produced by Ivan Reitman, and Dan Aykroyd Dan Aykroyd is in it.
Huh.
And it's awful. It is completely awful.
It looked awful.
It was.
All right. Now, Joe's got number 1, a movie on here that, while I agree that it is absolute cinema trash, it is everything you should not do in a movie. I love this movie, and that is Battlefield Earth.
Number 1.
Oh, my God. Do I find this movie to be greatly entertaining? For all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, you see, I don't find it entertaining for any reason.
I mean, see, but there's a difference between me and you. I can watch absolute crap and think it's hilarious and amazing. You can't do that because you're too busy thinking like, this is just bad cinema because I'm a movie snob.
No, it's because the movie is boring.
Oh my God, it's not.
Terribly shot. The visual effects are awful.
That's what makes it great. It's so crappy. And then you can sit there and realize.
I think that's what makes it suck.
Then you can sit there and realize that somehow John Travolta thought this was amazing stuff.
Well, he's got Scientology on the brain.
Oh my God, he thought it was great. Every interview he did, he's like, "Oh, this Barry Pepper is going to be one of the biggest stars ever in the history of the world." Blah 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 blah.
Do you remember after that movie came out and it flopped hard, and John Travolta still wanted to make another
sequel,
one? Yeah. Thankfully, it never got off the ground, and hopefully it never will, I'm sure.
You know what I think your problem is? I think you should listen to the How Did This Get Made podcast, because I'm telling you, it would open your mind to a whole new perspective on certain movies.
I think I would like the podcast. I don't think it would make me like the movie any more than I already do. It's horrendous.
It would, but that's what makes it great. It's so stupid.
I understand that, but even then, I have my
man animal.
I have my limits. I have my limits with that kind of stuff. It's like, would I ever want to? Like, I've seen it once. I never ever want to watch it again.
I've seen it multiple times.
Alien Covenant, I would watch again. Battlefield Earth, I would not. I think it's a terrible movie. I don't even want to, you don't even need to explain the plot of it. It's just basically Planet of the Apes. It's a version of Planet of the Apes, really.
Yeah. It is. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, see? And all the aliens want is gold. They came to our planet for gold. That's just great. Great. Why gold?
Well, you want to know why and where that concept well, I don't know why. I can't remember why in the movie, but you know where the concept comes from?
Cowboys and aliens?
No, I'm guessing L. Ron Hubbard got the original concept of aliens coming down for gold is because the earliest civilizations of man, you're going to learn something here, Joe, talked about they talked about how, I think it's the Anunnaki is what they called them, came from space. And what they were here to do was to harvest our gold because they were going to take the gold and put it around their planet to deflect the sun because the sun is starting to kill off the radiation from the sun is starting to kill their planet. Now you roll your eyes. Do you know what NASA's considering doing in order to deflect radiation from the sun? Thousands of years later after that actual story was written, the same exact thing.
Oh, well, we won't be around to see it.
No, but I'm just making the point of that story was written thousands of years ago with that idea.
Battlefield Earth was written thousands of years ago.
No, the gold idea by primitive people. And now we're talking about saying like, no, that actually work. We should do that. And that's where people are kind of like, now, well, how did they know about that kind of stuff?
Where do you read this crap?
With that kind of stuff, it's all over the place. There's books about it. There's a book called Chariot of the Gods that you can read that talks about.
Do you also believe in the Illuminati?
You do know the Illuminati actually existed, right?
Well, today
you don't know that. I mean, come on, you can't. They might not be called the Illuminati, but you can't tell me that there isn't a rich group of people in this that control pretty much everything. The Koch brothers, they control everything. I mean, they're the ones who buy presidents. I mean, come on, that's basically the Illuminati. I don't know about the hip hop Illuminati, but
it's a terrible movie. You know it. Well, I mean, you say that it is.
It is, and that's why I like it because it's so terrible. I totally do. But folks, that's the end of our show.
Yes,
it's the end.
It's so good to be back.
Yeah, we'll be back in a couple of weeks, and I'll be back with some other stuff in the meantime. So until then.
Murray, I just want to let you know that it really does. Doing this with you puts a smile on my face.
I'm glad. I don't even know what to say to that. All right. See you.
Bye.